I met Gautham, I asked Amir, and I asked Venkat Prabhu, all of us. We were thinking of ways to make that happen, and I really wanted to do that.
It was supposed to be love stories initially, and I really just jumped at it till Vetri came around and changed it to what it is now.
Content like this is very hard hitting, and it's very more on the emotional side. I wanted to give my style of treatment to it.
I didn't start out to make an activist film, it was a story.
Vetri was trying to help me with taking a sort of a leaf from his story forward, and we discussed that idea.
What you end up doing to them, I just wanted to have a microscopic view on the pain that is involved in everybody. When I have a platform like Netflix and I want to do a film, I thought that we should push ourselves a little outside our comfort zone.
But Vetri, you should make a love story at some point.
No, I will, but not in
He owes me one lust story now.
Yeah, lust, that's even better.
Yes.
What took you so long to come to the South with content? Was it like, were you trying to test out the waters in the North first and then come down, or how did it happen?
What we like to do is to come for the creator first approach. So I guess it was waiting for the right stories, and we got lucky because if you see the distinguished panel of directors that we have, we wanted to make sure that when we come here, we do this with the right stories in the right ethos.
And Ashi, once you said that we want to do this, right, we want to make, was the first thought to make an anthology film, or did you say, let's just see what we can do, and then the anthology fell into place?
So actually, I had met Vetri sir and Gautham sir in 2014 when I'd made a film called Bombay Talkies to do an anthology in Tamil then. And at that point, we couldn't pull it off because of the whole theatrical bit and being able to raise money to do it down south. We ended up doing it in Hindi. But I always wanted to do something in Tamil with them. And when we found an opportunity with Netflix, and Netflix was interested in doing it, that's when I went back to them and I said, now is a good time. And now, we have a platform like Netflix, which makes content easy for people to view worldwide, and it's breaking all the language barriers. So that's when it all started again. I went back to them, we restarted the conversation, and I was very lucky for filmmakers to want to do this.
So Vetri and Gautham, when she first approached you, you said 2014.
Yes.
What was your initial reaction?
I was very excited, and I really tried to meet everybody, and I met Gautham, I asked Amir, and I asked Venkat Prabhu, all of us. So we were thinking of ways to make that happen, and I really wanted to do that. And when it didn't happen, I was very disappointed, actually, to be frank. And then when this came again, I was very excited, and I thought I should do it.
Gautham?
Yeah, I remember the meeting, and it was supposed to be love stories initially, and I really just jumped at it till Vetri came around and changed it to what it is now. So,
Can you tell us about the changing around and how that came about?
Yeah, I see. Okay, when Ashi told let's do an anthology, I immediately said, see, principally, I am in. Let's do it. Then it was she said, let's do love stories. First, it was Chennai stories around Chennai, and then lust stories like what they had done in Hindi. And I said, then it became love stories. And I said, see, I'm a mainstream filmmaker. All my films, whether I want it or not, will have a love story in it. Either the love story is the primary one or the secondary one. We have love stories, and we keep doing love stories. And we're bored of doing love stories. When I have a platform like Netflix and I want to do a film, I thought that we should push ourselves a little outside our comfort zone. While we were discussing, then Ashi said that there is an idea that we are working in Telugu, which is based on honor killings and pride, and this is a good idea. If this is it, I am in. If it's love story, then please let me out. I will not do it, I said.
But Vetri, you should make a love story at some point.
No, I will, but not in
He owes me one lust story now.
Yeah, lust, that's even better.
Yes.
Now, all four of you, and let's begin with you, Sudha, once you decided that honor, pride, or in one's surroundings, that kind of a thing comes into place. Like, I want each one of you to answer this. Did any of you consciously try to say, I don't want to make a movie, I just want to tell a story, but I want to avoid the activism trap. Was that a concern for you?
So that's always my thought. A film is a film, and if there is activism which is beneath all that layered, so be it. But I didn't start out to make an activist film. It was a story that I wanted to tell. It touched my heart. I mean, I was sobbing when I read it. So I called the writer and I told him I want to do this. This story has to be told, because I was crying. I sent him a selfie at 4:30 in the morning, like a crazy person, saying this is what the story has done to me. I have to say it. So that was one. Secondly, when we were talking on a killing, there isn't even one person talking about what I've talked about in the film. I've been wanting to understand, because my understanding of it is very less, and I wanted to see if I was sensitive enough to grasp what these people are feeling. So that's how it started.
Right, right. Vignesh?
When we are touching a topic like this, it's not very, it is a sensitive topic, and for my experience, like, I'm not exposed to something in real life like that. We live in cities and things like that, but I wanted to understand it first. So I started reading, and then I spoke to a couple of directors, my friends, and then I came to know how sensitive it is, and then, but I didn't want to make it in a, like, you know, how it's regularly made. I wanted to give my style of treatment to it, how it can be watchable. Most of the times, content like this is very, you know, hard hitting, and it's very difficult to watch. I mean, it's very more on the emotional side. So I thought, instead of, like, you know, let it not just be tragical, maybe give it a better treatment. So that was the first challenge which I had for my own self, and then I started writing with that note. Okay, make it a little like, you know, I can't say pleasant, but then it has to also be entertaining at some level.
Gautham?
I struggled with it for a bit. I think I went into production at the fag end, like everybody had made their films. So Vetri was trying to help me with taking a sort of a leaf from his story forward, you know, and we discussed that idea. And I knew what Vetri was making, and it seemed so powerful by itself. So I thought, whatever I do will really not, you know, live up to what Vetri has done. And then Sudha suggested a book, like a novella for me, and that seemed too sort of vast to film in that time, and, you know, the money involved and all that stuff. So wanted to be within my, you know, comfort zone, and then I put myself into it in that sense. And I just told that line. I didn't want to, and I picked from what generally the society perceives from, you know, a moment like that. So
I wanted to tell a story of a father and a daughter, and their emotional journey. Like, it's just, it started off for me with the daughter and the father talking. The daughter is locked inside the room, the father is standing outside the room. Through the window, their conversation. So that whole idea was to have this conversation for 30 minutes.
Okay.
So that is how it started. But then I started adding things, and it just fleshed itself out to what it is now. But my thought, I should say unconscious thought, was to have a microscopic view on those last moments. Someone whom you had given all your love and your hopes, and to see them live a long life in the name of pride, honor, or whatever it is, like what you end up doing to them. Like, you know, I just wanted to have a microscopic view on the pain that is involved in everybody. So I thought, if that could be magnified, if that could be shown, I would have done and started a initial discussion. So that is the starting point for me to tell.
So I'm going to put you directors on the spot and ask you to name the one film above everyone else. So obviously you cannot pick your film, but we'll begin with Vignesh.
Okay, I don't want to be diplomatic and boring, so I'll go with Vetri Maaran sir's film.
Okay.
I liked this film
Okay.
because it was it explains what it is, like, you know, for someone who's watching from somewhere, like, what is honor killing? Is it so gruesome? I mean, is it so tragical? You know, it just gives you the an explanation of what it is and how hard it is. So I love this film.
Sudha?
Very difficult, but I think what I couldn't have done and he's done very well was Vicky's film. So it was a very different take. I didn't know how he could have made something so different from what I've been thinking of it, or at least they were in the same graph. This was totally different, so I liked that.
Okay.
So for me, I think I don't want to be diplomatic and political like he said, but I want to say that I actually loved all the three films because Vetri is stark, and I felt that too while watching his film. So would I want to watch something and be disturbed? Yes, sometimes yes, I would like to. But it like she said it, and like Vignesh said, it shows you exactly what that moment is all about, you know, and it's stark in that sense. It leads up to that, and the whole film is that, you know. So, and I don't want to reveal too much also here. In Sudha's film, this trans people angle comes in a very beautiful way. The way Kalidas has performed, the way she's gone into that space, and she's, you know, those characters just come alive for you. And like she's mentioned about Vignesh's film, it's a completely different take on honor killing. And if you actually laugh and smile through that film, but it's also dark in that sense, you know. So I think he's really exploited that angle really well. So I have to pick from all these three films and say it really, and the whole film as such, the anthology as such, completely worked for me. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to say, I really like the way Sudha's film starts. It starts with so much of confidence and fine thing, and I really like Gautham's the way he had finished the film. I feel the takeaway of this anthology stays in his climax. I feel that way.
All of you, what is the primary difference, apart from the fact that you can pick a subject and go any way you want with it on TV, what is the change, was it liberating to kind of, you know, do something in this format, or was it more challenging because you have a time limit, or rather a rough time limit to go through? What was that like? Did you find that there was something, I mean, what I'm trying to ask is, what are the pros and the cons of this versus theatrical?
An anthology or OTT?
Anthology.
OTT feature, OTT anthology is different.
Yeah.
See, I think people like Sudha and I are not made for anthologies. Gautham is ideally suited for anthology because he's such a beautiful sport. Because Sudha wants her film to be the first film, I want my film to be either the first film or the last film. That thing is there. He's like the best, you know. See, you don't get to see people like Gautham. I've never seen such a team player like Gautham. So it's for people like him. It suits very well. Though the experience of making a film with your contemporaries or people whom you have always worked like, you know, as friends, you worked on various levels. Now making films together is an experience, but anthology is a challenging task.
Right. They always say that it's tougher to write a short story compared to a novel because you have to, like, really, did you feel that while you were scripting this?
I normally don't write, so.
Any of you others, Gautham,
No,
Sudha?
for me, it's good to get away with half an hour. So
Yeah.
I get out in 40 minutes and I'm happy.
Second half.
Yeah, always.
Sudha?
Actually, I didn't find it easy at all because when I write, there's a middle, there is a beginning, there's an end, and it's like, I don't know, I take my time to work it out, the whole emotions, and I crush all that into a short film format. So what I was doing was, I was doing what I would do on a feature in 30 minutes. I wasn't treating it like a separate format. So that became pretty challenging for me.
I enjoyed it. It was a little challenging also because I had many characters in the film, so I didn't. I wanted to, you know, give proper endings for all the characters. It shouldn't just pop out and, you know, go missing towards the end. So that was kind of, and I also wanted to give a proper ending for the film. Like, you know, films, concepts like this, towards the end we tend to give a very abstract ending or an open ending. But what I want to say, like what should happen, something like that. I just wanted to have that little edge of the film, like what am I trying to say. So I had that small, space So to bring in all those things into 30 minutes was a little tough only.
It's not exactly
we've all
30, right?
exceeded the limit a little
Mine
bit,
is
but then
27.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
ma'am is the first rank
No,
student.
because they put rules. They put rules, and I seem to be the only one who's following it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'll call Ashi like some 100 times. I say, listen, this is going to 33 minutes. What do I do? So then Vicky will say, it's okay. Mine will be 25 minutes, so you take my 5 minutes. So this is how we were like deciding on the length.
Did you guys ever toy with maybe casting like one, you know, quote unquote big name just to kind of, you know, or was the whole idea to free yourself from working with the idea of big names? Was that the attraction?
Yeah, see, I didn't look at it like that. I wrote this at some point, and I think the minute I finished writing, I thought Simran should be in this film. And she was my first choice, the only choice. And I called her up, and she said, yeah, I'd love to do it. And I gave her a narration. I had somebody else in mind to play, you know, opposite her. Last minute, that didn't come through. So I just went ahead and...
You're a big name, Gautham. I think you can say that.
I was a little uncomfortable in the sense I don't think like an actor. So, but Simran was there, and then the team was there. So I think, but I just figured out from all their films that you need somebody to sort of stand out a bit. Like his film has Sai Pallavi and Prakash Raj, right? So, and I knew the cast of the other films. Vicky and I were discussing right through. So I just thought one name, which I thought was Simran, and that was it for me. Yeah.
For me, I'll have to say, add one more thing to this whole, the difference between mainstream and making a film for OTT. Unconsciously, I've always had a big pressure on my back. Like I did not realize that until I was shooting for this one. You feel that there's someone like, you know, pushing you down, pressing you down, which is the mainstream acceptance and the market requirements. With this film, I did not have any of that, and I really felt so relaxed. It was like a vacation for me, like shooting for this film, thinking about this film. It was like vacation for me. Of course, the whatever that was inside, the content, the pain, the angst, but the other external pressures, external aspect, that was not there. And for the cast part of it, I really had big names cast in it. Normally, I don't have so many big names in my films. So this one had Prakash Raj and Sai Pallavi. Both of them have done and are doing big work. So for me, I thought that they both, being the father and the daughter, would add to whatever I have written or whatever I have not written.
Right.
So I thought I should bring them together, and that worked.
Yeah, so big names in the sense they are big names, but they are powerful actors also.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Sometimes big
I mean,
names are not powerful.
big names
actors.
is an unfair term, I know, but what I mean is starry, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So some of the stars are not great actors,
Yeah.
I'm saying. But here you have somebody like a Prakash Raj and Sai Pallavi who are like, you forget their names, you know, once you watch his film. You forget, and you just go into that zone by itself.
Right.
And then, like Vetri was saying, the pressure of writing something for the audience, you know, is not there at all here. You're not languid about your filmmaking for sure. You're not just, you know, filming something, but every shot is constructed the way that emotion should be conveyed. And you're not thinking of edit length, you're not thinking of will the audience be, you know, restless in the
Lag
theater.
irka.
Lag irka, there's nothing like that.
Ironically, the directors wanted an English title. So Netflix insisted on a Tamil title. I'm happy that
So
they
Vetri,
insisted.
what would your English title have been? Sin Stories?
Yeah.
Okay.
We decided, okay, we don't want to lose Vetri on this, so that's how we got. And I'd like to differ from what you just said. We didn't want to lose you, so we changed it around. So I had to convince Simran, the actor, to sort of, I said it might go either ways. People might perceive it in this way or that way. So she was very keen, and I think that's all it needed.
There are certain films that needs the spectacle of the big screen.
That's fascinating. I mean, I think you should pursue that at some point. You know, one movie being directed by 4 distinct filmmakers, you know, with distinct voices.
I've tried to assist Gautham sir. I've wanted to become his assistant director for so many years. I've tried, but then later I was supposed to work in this production for a film.
We just cast who we wanted to. We told the story we wanted to in the way that we wanted to. So I thank you, Netflix and Ashi.